What if I told you that some people use healing as a weapon, that they go to therapy, read self-help books, and even learn the language of emotional growth, not to change, but to manipulate? In this video, we're going to expose one of the most deceptive tactics that narcissists use, the illusion of healing. They make it look like they've changed, but in reality, they're just refining their control. You'll learn how to recognize when so-called self-improvement is actually a smokescreen, and most importantly, how to protect yourself from being gaslit by their so-called progress. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll see through the illusion and gain the clarity you need to move forward. Now, let me start by telling you a story about a woman named Emma. Emma was sitting across from her ex-husband Ryan in a cafe. They had been separated for months after years of emotional and psychological abuse. But now, Ryan seemed different. He had been going for counseling, inner healing, reading self-help books, and even attending workshops on emotional intelligence. "I've really been working on myself," Ryan was saying to Emma. "I have made so much progress. I understand now how toxic our relationship was. I think it would help us both a lot if you took some time to work on your own healing too. It would help you get over your bitterness, and maybe then you would be able to see how much I have changed." Emma, of course, was quite uncomfortable with what she was hearing, because she had spent years enduring Ryan's manipulations, his outbursts, his gaslighting. Now, instead of taking accountability, he was using his so-called healing as a weapon against her. And for a moment, she felt guilty. Was she being the unreasonable one? Was she holding on to her past and not letting go? Had he actually changed and she was just being unforgiving? But something still felt off. Ryan spoke the language of healing, but his behavior hadn't truly changed. The same dismissiveness was there, the same condescending tone, the same need to be in control. The only difference? He had found a more sophisticated way to do it. And this is how narcissists gaslight their victims, through the illusion of healing. They make it look like they're putting in the work, but in reality, they're just repackaging the same dysfunction in a way that makes it harder to call out. And this is exactly why it's so important to recognize the tactics they use, because when someone appears to be doing the work, it can be so easy to second guess yourself. And on a little side note, that's why I put together an ebook all about the Narcissist playbook and the 7 manipulation tactics they use at the beginning of a relationship. It breaks down the 7 red flags to detect if you are in a narcissistically manipulative, deceptive relationship. So it's very helpful to see through the smokescreen before you get too invested, and to protect yourself. Click on the link in the description box below to get your free copy, or click on the link in the pinned comment. Now, let's break down exactly how a narcissist pulls off their illusion. One of the most deceptive tactics that they use is appearing to heal while avoiding any real transformation. Instead of addressing the core issues, such as their entitlement, manipulation, and lack of accountability, they put on a performance of self-improvement. These types of people don't actually want to heal, they just want to be seen as someone who's healing. And this works in 3 key ways. Number 1, they focus on weeds and flowers while ignoring the boulders. So picture a garden. In this garden, there are massive boulders, huge, immovable objects. These boulders represent the core traits of a narcissist: entitlement, manipulation, lack of empathy, and refusal to take responsibility. Now, instead of moving those boulders, what does the narcissist do? They pull a few small weeds, which represent small surface level changes, like being less outwardly aggressive. Then they plant some flowers, which represent going for counseling, using emotional buzzwords, reading relationship books. And from the outside, it looks like they're tending to their garden. But the boulders, they haven't moved an inch. The deep destructive patterns stay exactly the same. Only the appearance of growth has changed. And this is where confusion comes in, because it looks like they're making an effort. They'll even use their so-called progress as proof that they've changed, when in reality, they've just found a new way to dodge accountability. And when you don't immediately accept their growth at face value, that's when they turn it around on you. Suddenly, you're the problem. You're the one who refuses to let go and move on. And just like that, their so-called healing becomes another tool for gaslighting. Here's what that sounds like. You're not being fair. I've been working on myself. You just want to hold the past against me. Can't you see how much I've changed? The real issue is not acknowledging my growth. But here's the truth. Real change isn't about pulling weeds or planting flowers. It's about moving boulders. So ask yourself, are they actually addressing their manipulation, control, and entitlement, or just talking about self-growth? Is their healing consistent and observable? Or does it only show up when they need to prove something? Are they accepting full accountability or still blame shifting? Because true healing isn't about looking the part. It's about doing the deep, difficult work of real transformation. Now, if you are finding this video helpful, please consider subscribing to my channel, because I am committed to bringing you quality videos packed with deep insights and biblical wisdom to help you navigate toxic relationships and walk in freedom. And when you subscribe, you're not just helping yourself, you're also helping these videos reach more people who desperately need clarity and hope from a biblical perspective. So hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications so you never miss a video. So let's move on to the second issue. Number 2, they use healing to elevate themselves over others. For a narcissist, self-improvement isn't just a smokescreen. It's an opportunity to gain the upper hand, and more importantly, to feed their ego. The moment they start counseling, read a book, or pick up some psychological terms, they suddenly become the expert on healing. But instead of taking accountability for their own harm, they flip the script. Now they're the ones lecturing others on what healing should look like. And here's where it gets even more deceptive. They actually use their quest for healing as a way to get narcissistic supply. So think about it. When someone appears to be putting in effort, people commend them. They get praised for being so self-aware and for doing the hard work to change. Meanwhile, the narcissist can paint the actual victim as the one who refuses to heal, who's stuck in the past, who just won't let things go. And if that wasn't enough, they take it a step further. In counseling, in support groups, in conversations with family or friends, they tell their side of the story first. They frame themselves as the one trying, the one growing, while the person they've hurt is the one who is unwilling to change. They might even suggest that you are the real narcissist. And therapists, counselors, spiritual leaders, and well-meaning friends who don't see the full picture can end up nodding along, affirming their pain, and showering them with empathy. Suddenly, the narcissist is the one receiving comfort, while the real victim is being cast as bitter, unhealed, or even abusive. And this is where the real manipulation kicks in. Because once they've positioned themselves as the one doing the work, they start using their so-called healing to shame, dismiss, and control others. If you don't immediately acknowledge their growth or fall in line with their version of healing, they'll flip it back on you, turning their self-improvement into a weapon. And here's what that might sound like. You should be grateful I'm doing the work. Not everyone is willing to improve themselves. I've learned so much about trauma. You should really let me help you with your healing. Or you're stuck in the past. You need to work on forgiveness. But here's the key. Real healing is marked by humility, not control. A truly changed person doesn't use their growth as a weapon or as a way to feel superior. If their healing only makes them more condescending and more dismissive, if they're using it to flip the story in their favor, then it's not healing at all. It's just another way to manipulate. Number 3, narcissists weaponize healing to reverse roles, i.e. DARVO, which means to deny, attack, and then reverse the roles of victim and offender. They get better at twisting reality, using psychological terms and self-help jargon to make you look like the problem. Here's how it plays out. Number 1, deny their past actions. That's not what happened. You're just seeing things through your own pain. Number 2, attack your credibility. Your trauma is distorting reality. Maybe counseling would help you see things more clearly. Number 3, reverse victim and offender. I'm actively working on myself, and it's exhausting to be around someone who refuses to grow. By twisting the story, the narcissist erases the harm they've caused and positions you as the one who's bitter, unreasonable, or even emotionally unstable. Here's another example of how they might gaslight you through DARVO. They might say, I've done so much inner work, but you're still stuck in your old wounds. Maybe it's you who needs healing. I'm learning to regulate my emotions, but you keep bringing up the past like a victim. It's painful to see how much resentment you hold. Are you sure you're not projecting? Instead of taking responsibility, they cast themselves as the one who's misunderstood, wounded. Meanwhile, because you see through their act, you get labeled as bitter, punitive, or emotionally unwell. And that's exactly how they keep the cycle going. The bottom line is, don't fall for their illusion. If you've been waiting for a narcissist to change, ask yourself these 3 questions. Number 1, are they truly healing or just making it harder for you to walk away? Number 2, is their growth real or just another manipulative tactic? Number 3, are they addressing the core issues or are they just performing self-improvement? Because real healing leads to humility, accountability, and actual change, not just more sophisticated ways to gaslight you. And your freedom starts with clarity. You don't have to keep second-guessing yourself. If their so-called healing feels like another mind game, then trust your instincts. God gave them to you for a reason. You're not wrong for seeing the truth, because in the end, it's not about whether they change. It's about whether you stay trapped in the illusion that they might. The moment you stop waiting for proof of their change is the moment that you set yourself free. So I hope this video was helpful. If it gave you clarity, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear. And my question to you, have you ever experienced someone using their healing as a weapon? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you haven't already, don't forget to grab your free copy of my ebook, which is all about 7 red flags to spot a narcissist at the beginning of a relationship. The link is in the description box below or pinned in the comment below. It will help you stay one step ahead of these tactics. Also, make sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications so you don't miss the next video. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video.